There it goes.
Woo! We are live
on the internet. That was like the longest lead-in ever to a show.
I think so. And who knows, we may or may not even be live now.
We're not even sure we're live. It took forever to go live. But hopefully we are, and hopefully you can see us. So when you guys get into the chat and so on, let us know if you can hear or see us, because I'm a little skeptical. I'm still seeing no one. Very interesting. We are live. Somebody says we are.
Yay, we can start the party now.
That was very weird how long that took to go live.
Yeah, that happens.
So anyway, hopefully you guys are doing well. It is Monday, June 26th.
Yes, it is.
2017 AD. Just to be clear.
Anno Domini.
Somebody could be watching this 1,000 years from now, and they'll be like, I wonder what time it really was.
Seriously.
They might be. YouTube probably won't be here 1,000 years from now. But anyway, that went somewhere weird.
As do often things.
It's a bright, beautiful, sunny day here in North Carolina.
It is so gorgeous.
We've already been for a walk and taking advantage of this great weather.
A couple of miles, right? So as people are coming into the chat, we had a bit of a, besides the whole, are we there yet? Are we live? That whole glitch. So we had a technology glitch of sorts. Who has an awesome home remedy for removing oil from garments? In particular, that won't sound right. Peanut oil. I was going to say something else, but let's just, it wouldn't have sounded right. So if you get it on clothing, how do you get it out? Like an olive oil or something like that. So we eat something pretty specific for lunch, and it requires some prep. And somebody over something and got peanut oil all over their favorite shirt and favorite pair of shorts.
It wasn't all over. It was just one spot on each.
Well, with the amount of reaction that you had, you'd think that the world had ended.
I was not happy because I like that shirt and I like those shorts. You know,
so yeah, if you've got a remedy, let us know. Put it in the chat, and we'll see if we can. I'm pretty confident I can get it out. But somebody isn't. So we've opened it up to everyone to help us remedy this very earth-shattering predicament we are in.
I don't like ruining clothes.
I know you don't. Well, then don't spill anything on them.
Well, it definitely wasn't on purpose, that's for sure.
Problem solved as far as I'm concerned. Cheers, everyone.
So anyway, we are off and running with the show. And today we're going to talk about 5 ways to improve eBay business. And they might not be the exact ways you're normally used to when you hear this topic on other shows and so on. Different. But Karen's going to run with most of this content for it because it was her idea.
Oh, there's no pressure there.
So if it goes badly, it's my fault. And if it goes well, it's on her.
So
wait, what? Yeah. But anyway.
That's my line. You just totally took my line.
You know.
Taking all the credit.
Yeah, you know.
Grabbing all the thingies. So it's Monday. And Monday, we all kind of want to start off on this motivational step, right? We just sort of want to jump in and hit it hard and hit it well. And so last week, we talked about, you know, being open to opportunities and being consistent and just doing whatever and whenever you can to make yourself and your business better. So I got to thinking this morning when we were getting ready for the show that I wanted to, because I had a whole bunch of doors open up for me, surprising from left field kind of stuff, and some that we've been working on for a while. But I wanted to make this week count and to use our group and our community in a way that we can all build each other up.
Right.
And, you know, we've talked about making lists and making schedules, and we've talked about a lot of things. But today we're going to talk about not only making that list, but sticking to it. Like, I think everybody has a remedy for, wait, I should back up. I think everybody has an opinion about how things can be done. But I don't think everybody has a constructive remedy for it. Like, it's really easy to say, that's not working for you, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
okay, so where's the positivity in that? Or where's the constructive arm of that? You know, okay, that's great. You think I'm doing it wrong. Well, how can I do it better? So as we were sitting down this morning, you know, Jason is the number and the maths guy. Maths, embrace your maths. So I thought about making a list that was measurable. You know, goals are goals. That's fine. You know, if your goal is to be happy, you need to do a little bit better than that. How do you measure happiness? How do you measure success? And one of the most easiest ways to measure something is to quantify it with numbers, right? Because we all understand, well, some of us better than others, and kind of take it to a next level. But numbers, we would agree, are a measurable way to assess.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Creating and maintaining and reaching your goals, right? So I wanted to make this my week of 5s.
There was my number contribution.
You're such a great fan of light today. I won't have this opportunity or this soapbox. I won't have this often, so I should take advantage, right?
Yep.
Let's just change all the rules, people, when Prof isn't looking. No, I'm just kidding. So my week of 5s starts with, number 1, to have 5 consistent days. And each one of these items that I'm going to go over are me. And if you guys want to join along, that's great. But it's about me more than anything, making a commitment to myself to do the things that I've loftily set aside on my list of things to do. And I am a chronic list maker, and TBH, I'm just over it. I'm over making lists and never realizing, you know, having them come to fruition. So this is going to be a shortened version of that, and I'm going to commit to making it happen. So for me, what 5 consistent days looks like is, with regard to here, reselling, listing 5 things a day for me. Now, remember, we're in different spots here. Jason has the existing business that gets a lot more attention than my side. And I don't mean anything by that other than anything that I do to augment the store that we've created for me on eBay is better than what I'm doing right now.
Yep.
I'm the newbie here, even though I've got experience with you and your channel and your store. So 5 consistent days. And for you, your 5 consistent days are going to be committing to listing, you know, at least 5 things a day. Could we all just agree to do that? Just at least do 5 things. And for me, that's a huge improvement because right now I'm not listing anything for me.
True story.
Yep. So being consistent in my commitment to myself, oh, you smile, and having days that are consistent. I think we can all agree on that. Anybody have anything to
add to that? Add in the chat.
And no. Okay, Purple Lily, yes. Hit the like button if you like it. I haven't been practicing, but I'll work on that. So number 2 of the 5 is to have 5 creative days. And each day I'm committing to creating something that's going to benefit me, the brand, the store, whatever. And one of the ways that I figured that I could benefit that is to commit to 5 shirt designs between the 2 of us. You know, we have a merch account that we're allowed 5 designs a day, and we're tiered at 100. I think right now we have maybe 36 shirts up, and we every time, it's just like eBay, every time we list or we put up a new design, we seem to have a bump in sales.
Yeah.
So it's hard to argue against your effort reaping reward, right? So putting up designs, I can only think is going to help us sell more shirts. So that's one easy. Yes, and we have a comment on that listing consistently. It seems to be the norm, or everybody seems to agree on the more you list, the more sales you make.
Right.
And whether you believe that it's somewhere in the algorithm that listing consistently pushes you further up, or whether it's just, it comes down to numbers, and the more you put out into the universe, the more you're going to get back. However you look at it, it's a fact. Science doesn't lie.
And Joe, you can take a nap during the day. Just make it a 5-minute nap.
Oh, can you imagine? Like the whole week is going to be
5-minute power nap.
It's going to be wrought with 5s.
300 seconds. Gone.
It's on. So number 3. Oh, I can't do. There. 3 is to have 5 healthy days. And I know that this part might sound a little hokey to some, but if we are the poster children for anything here, it's that if you don't have balance, you don't have anything.
Right.
And when we're, when it's not couples counseling for eBayers or whatever, we'll be the first to admit that when we're not paying attention to each other, this household, the business, it's this dance, man. It's this balancing act, this juggling act, where if we're not being good to all of the thingies all of the time, we're going to get really good at one thing, but then all of these other things are going to suffer as a result. So as far as health goes, we're committing to the 5 there is 5 miles a day, which for the Fitbitters out there, that's about 10,000 steps, right? So I think we talked about before that our neighborhood from door to door, cul-de-sac to cul-de-sac is roughly 2 miles. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that twice a day. And I think that if anybody, if you're treating my whole life has revolved around mind, body, and spirit. So, and I've sort of been, because of a writing class that I'm taking, I'm having to sort of take this really hard look at a lot of things that maybe I've not been wanting to take a closer look at. And there's these recurring themes in our lives, right? And if we're not feeding our mind, our body, and our spirit, we're going to suffer. And we've talked a lot about the Whole30 and getting out what you put in. And if you're not treating yourself, your body well, you can't possibly, you can't maintain on this listing thing.
Right.
Like if you're not feeding your machine, it's not going to perform properly for you, right? So we're going to kind of take it up a notch with health and what we eat, as well as the physical part. And we can't stress enough, sitting behind your computer all day, it's killing you. Also a scientific fact. So get up, walk, move, do something. If you're not able to get out of your house, I get and respect that. But just take a moment, give your eyes a break, give your fingers a break. Just be,
Yeah, your neck, your back, your shoulders, they all get stiff when you're sitting in front of this computer for a long period of time. And
there's whole other group of ways that you're not doing yourself justice. You really have to treat yourself well, right? So be healthy, be good to yourself. And for me, this one may differ for some of you, but I started a writing course because one of the things that I'm doing unrelated to reselling is I'm writing a book on a fairly serious subject, and we'll talk about that at another time and place and what that looks like, whatever. But my homework is that I have to write, and I have to write a lot. And so in order to make that work, I have to write like 500 words a day. And I kind of went into that class a little rusty. It's really easy for me to tell a story. Writing about events and other people and other things, even fiction, come easy to me, poetry even. But when I have to write about my own circumstance, my own story, it's proven to be a bit of a challenge. And at class number 2, we were able to share our first week's homework, which mine was abysmal. But I got a lot of inspiration from someone in my class who was dealing with she just had to write and get out this very heavy thing that had literally just happened to her within that week. And by the time she read her submission, the whole room was in tears. It was raw, it was honest, and it was just beautifully brilliant. And that sort of opened up the floodgates to say to me, just try. You don't know where you're going to get or how you're going to get there or even what it's going to look like if you're just giving yourself a bunch of lip service. So
do you remember the quote I told you about writing?
No.
I read this quote, guys, and it applies to a lot of things, but I don't remember who said it. I think it was a fairly famous author, but they said they hated writing, but they loved having written, which I thought was interesting. Like they hated going through all the slog of writing and rewriting and editing and proofreading. But man, when they were done, they loved having that finished product. But you can't get to that unless you go through all the difficult stuff. So I thought that was an interesting perspective.
Well, and all that difficult stuff is therapy.
Mm.
You know, whether you've got something that's just got to get out and you've been suppressing it for an entire lifetime. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of freedom in that. I've never been a journaler. You know, I write my journal every day in my head, which I should probably get a little better at that. But everybody expresses themselves differently. And I think that if you can find a way to get that out of you and put it out into the universe, there's some great therapy in that.
Right.
So whatever that looks like to you, you know, your number 4 would probably be different, but I've made a commitment to this class and this group of women. I paid money for it. So I have to put up or shut up at this point. And like I said, I've broken through that gate and the flood waters are coming forth. So there you go. And number 5 is one that I think everybody can relate to. And booyah! Have 5 profitable days. Wouldn't everybody like to do that? Yeah. We talked about that last week as far as opportunities and sort of finding different ways and things that you can do. And I had someone, Carly, reached out to me about something I hadn't even thought about. And it's, you know, taking pictures. We talked about putting pictures up on stock sites, but this is a specific way to channel your photographs for book writers, online book writers, ebook writers. And that's one of the things I want to explore. But have 5 days where you're going to commit to be profitable. Set your goal, whatever that looks like to you. And I get profitable subjective. It means different things to different people. But I think we can all agree that profitable means not losing money, right?
Right.
So maybe you don't go to Burger King today if it means it's going to cut into your profit margin. Maybe you make do with what you've got.
I used to love their chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, no, we don't do that anymore for lots
and lots for a long time.
Lots of reasons. But set your goal, what it looks like to you, and just drown out what everybody else is telling you it should look like and make your own goals. This list is unique to you. And prioritize it. If it's important to you to make extra money, then start acting like it. And just make it happen. And you're not going to do that by just sitting and talking about it. And I mean, I think we can all relate to that. And I've had so many conversations with so many folks, and I can't even say it's exclusive to people that are just getting started, that maybe are afraid of the mountain that is the beginning, but we all fall into ruts, and it's easy for us to talk ourselves out of it before we even get started.
Yeah.
So in making this particular list, this is the list to end all lists for you, I hope. And you're committing to yourself, and you're committing to prioritize what's important to you. This isn't some 20-item bullet list that you're creating here. It's a list of 5. So commit it to yourself. And for me, like if I had to put a measurable dollar amount on it, and we did this back when we started our Facebook group, where we did this, 30-day challenge. Do you remember? And the goal was what, $1,000 in a month or something? Yeah,
I can't recall, but something like that.
Yeah, and it was really cool because we talked about, in the Facebook group, we talked about, everybody had updates, and I can remember that was the first time we met Chris. I remember Evalos, and he was so awesome about posting his updates and keeping everybody. And there was this wonderful accountability to being involved with a group of people that, although our goals were unique, they were kind of the same. We were all wanting to be productive, make money, and sell our thingies, right? So there can be a lot said about accountability, and that's what this group, being consistent and holding each other accountable, what it's all about. I think there's some strength in that.
I do too.
And that's all 5.
That was very well said. Didn't she do great? That was a lot too. I mean, it was like 20 minutes almost.
Everybody drink.
Everybody drink. It's not that kind of show exactly.
Sure it is.
So, a lot of takeaways from that. The big one just being that you control, and I just said this in the chat, you control your perception of all this stuff. You control your perception of success and failure, and you control your perception of what's acceptable to you and what's not acceptable. So much of life is how you take it and not what you make exactly, or what someone has made, a position that's made for you. It's how you perceive it. And that determines your next steps. So to Karin's points, just coming up with a plan to figure out how you're going to approach each and every day, and not getting so caught up in the fluctuation of the pros and cons. I mean, any of these 5 things that she just went through, you can name off tons of obstacles. You could probably name off tons of things that'll happen that will derail you. But the point is, you can't focus on those things. You can't stay focused on, oh my gosh, I didn't get any sales yesterday. The sky is falling. It's over for me on eBay and Amazon or Poshmark or wherever you're selling. It's just, I'm never going to sell another thing. I'm going to get thrown out in the street, blah, blah, blah. I mean, those things could happen, but what's it going to benefit you to worry about them?
Wasted energy.
I mean, it's really not. Like, the worry gets you nothing except more worried. If you invest in worry, you will be full of it by the end of the day or the end of the week.
Full of it.
Yeah, no comment there. But anyway, but guys, if you're enjoying the content too, make sure you hit the like button down below. Check out the description for helpful links to other products and so on that can help you in your business, some of our gear that we use here. And we do appreciate it.
Is there any way that we can hold it accountable here? Like, how could we use the interweb to the greater good? Like, we talk about that all the time. Why don't we make
some sort of accountability or way to help people, or what are you getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the only one that needs an overhaul, right? I mean, I'm sure there are other people that are doing it differently. Like, we'll never tell you that it's just not in my wiring to tell someone that they're doing it wrong. But there's got to be some value in, a positive group. And it's kind of what we try to do with the Facebook group all the time. But what if there are a way that we could, hold each other accountable here? Like, it's not like we can have this contest and give away Prof math shirts all the time. But what do you think about that?
I don't know. Maybe we could do like a video series. Have people, kind of like we did with Connect.
Oh, Connect was really cool.
Yeah, have people come on and talk about their particular challenges and maybe work through them together with the audience, or work through them with them, maybe 2 people at once.
So like a rehab-y kind of thing.
Reseller rehab.
Alliteration.
We love alliterations. Awesome alliterations. All the absolutely amazing.
Awesome and amazing things. Whoa.
So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So maybe some sort of, just like we did with Connect, for those of you who watch Connect series, where we introduced you to resellers that maybe you didn't know about, so you could learn things from them and they could introduce themselves to the community.
Look, it says it right there. It kind of has a ring to it.
Reseller. I know, right? So maybe some sort of show or series, maybe, where we have people come on and say, hey, here are the challenges I'm having. It can be from the small to the large, different levels of sellers, and we kind of work through them together and have some, have them back.
My brain just, sorry. I
some
checked
sort of
out
accountability
for a moment, guys. I think it's really cool. Let's do it as a summer thing. You want to? Yeah. So, so by virtue of just attendance, everyone that is in this group is signed up. Yeah.
What does that even mean?
So think about it. How can we make each other better? And I will challenge everybody that it's not so much about pointing out, why or how someone's doing it wrong, but how can they do it better? And somebody said, I think it was it Large? I can't. But about partnerships and accountability. So I'm already doing that with a couple of folks, where we'll have like a weekly sort of, Hank and I'm now addicted to our shoe cleaning chats on Facebook Messenger. That that just so energizes me like nobody's business. And you know, we talk about all sorts of things, but that's kind of what this is, right? It's a supportive kind of thing. Group therapy, Thelma says.
So we'd have to have a way for people to contact us. And
I wonder, how would they do that? Email?
I don't know.
Yeah, so let's do it.
So we can, so guys, if you're interested in, so we'll say this for everybody. That's weird. I just got like a advertisement from eBay message came through. That was strange. So if you're interested in, you know, being a part of, maybe we're calling it reseller rehab. I don't know if that'll be what it'll be, but if you're interested in coming on and for a show or two, maybe, I don't know how many, maybe as many as 3 or 4, and just walking through kind of like what your business issues are, and having some talk through with the people in chat, as well as maybe another reseller, as well as with us, and just trying to work through what it is exactly that's causing your sticking points. And I got to be honest, we'll learn from that. You'll learn from it. There's great power in knowing that you're not alone, and there's great power in confiding in other people. It will not be a time where people will come and just tear you down or anything like that and saying, oh, you're just this or that.
Nope,
not at all. It's to help you
happen.
figure out strategies to get through those things.
I'm already way ahead. Like, it's going to be the summer of success. You know, like I'm goo gaga for alliteration. So the summer of success, let's do it. I think it's awesome. So send Prof an email.
Yeah, I'll leave it in the chat for people. Let's kind of make this. You should say it too.
What?
The email.
Oh, I don't know. What is your email?
ProfSales44.
Oh, ProfSales44@gmail.com. ProfSales44@gmail.com.
It's also in the chat.
It's also in the chat.
Oh, weird. That looks weird. So yeah, if you're interested in that, send me an email and we will start figuring that out. Maybe we'll start in July.
What a great experiment.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And we'll flesh out the details. But yeah, if you're interested in something like that, send me an email, and you know, we'll just try to put together a couple people together. I think it'd be kind of fun, kind of be interesting. You need to have a camera and microphone, a way to talk online. It's not going to be that great if you're just in the chat box, unfortunately. And you got to be willing to go online, because it's going to be more of a show type format, probably an hour, I guess. I don't know. That probably makes the most sense. And we'll get a little bit more into the detail of that as we go. But I think it'd be kind of cool. And we don't do enough of that in the reseller community to help each other. We talk at each other a lot and tear each other down, but we don't try to lift each other up. And I think that's a mistake. So
this is cool. I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I already have a date. Another date for shoes. Yeah, Lauren, I'm in. Hank, I'm in.
Nice. Nice. So what else do we got? Reseller rehab. That was sporadic.
Okay, so let's get back to the agenda, shall we?
Okay, all right.
We digress. So Ben made it to Haiti, and thanks to social media and me kind of snooping around, I know that he's still alive. He doesn't have the ability to send messages or anything, but his fearless leader does. So the boy made it, and he is painting houses, delivering goats.
Delivering goats.
All kinds of things. Yeah.
So some of you guys, some of these people probably may have contributed to that through the link. So
yes.
we want to thank you for that.
He couldn't have done it without everybody's support, for sure. And when he gets back, we should have him on the show and he can talk. Oh, because, go ahead.
And well, I was just going to say, it was interesting because Ben went on this trip last year, guys, and this shows you kind of like accountability. Last year he went on this trip and he raised through donations virtually all the money. This year, he still raised a good chunk of money, but I think he probably earned what? More than half. More than half on his own, like did work for it.
Yeah, between all of the summer trips, he had to raise $2,500. And we've used him as an example, like when we're talking about shows and this and that, about, setting a goal and holding yourself accountable. And he's a really good example of diversifying and using up one niche or area of your life to its maximum, and then going in a different direction. Right. And he slogged pizzas for a year.
Yeah, he did.
At minimum wage and making tips, while they were still paying him tips. That's a whole nother conversation. And then, we put an ad up on our neighborhood Facebook group, and he mowed grass for a ridiculously discounted amount and then made money that way. And you know, if a teenage boy can do it, if he can diversify and focus enough to raise, what did he end up like? So more than half of the 2,500 came from his fundraising alone. You know,
which is great.
Not mom, as I've often called myself, selling the Haiti Girl Scout cookies, so to speak, to raise money for him. But he's a great example of, you know, setting a goal and doing whatever you have to do to make it happen. Yeah,
and he had to really hustle sometimes to really, because of scheduling and so on, to working for Haiti versus school versus other things. I mean, it was not a super easy task for sure.
No, and he had to do it when he had to mow grass because he had made a commitment when he was sick. You know, how often have we gotten up in the morning and not felt well and we're like,
I work for myself. I don't have to go into work.
It's because you work for yourself
that you think that way.
That you have to go to work. You know,
you
can't, you know, thank heaven that when an event comes up, when you have to go out of town or I have to go out of town, the other person is there to ship the thingies or whatever. But if you're just a sole ship in your eBay ocean.
Navy.
What? Oh, your eBay Navy?
On the eBay.
Good ship lollipop. Anyway, if it's just you, then, you know, how, you know, I don't even, we can't take sick days is the point there, right? So that's a good example of that. And the hair is coming off. So on Monday, we're actually having a hair cutting party. Somebody's going to come to the house. The wonderful woman that has cut his hair for the last 10 years is going to come and he's donating it. And that's another kind of cool thing where he researched and found this nonprofit that will create these wigs for kids with cancer and gives them. You know, one of the more mainstream groups that people donate their hair to actually sells them. And he got bent because he just thought that that was just morally not correct. So he sought out this other group and there you go. So maybe we'll put that on the thing as well.
So if you guys have questions too about anything we've already talked about or any other subject related to reselling, being in business for yourself, entrepreneurship, yada, 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 leave it in the chat. You can type the word question or some question marks in front of it. We'll do our best to answer it. And if you're watching this later and you have a question as well, leave in the comments. I do read through them all. We try to answer all of them the best we can. Every once in a while, we might miss one. My apologies if we do. It happens, but we do our best to answer all those.
Is it Q&A time? Is that what you just said?
Well, it is, but I mean, we got at least one other topic there too.
Oh, so. We do. What's the other topic?
Do you want to read it or me?
I can read. I'm doing a fine job of reading today. So it's last call for our first ever Carolina reseller meetups, right?
Yeah.
I did see somebody in the chat that was from NC.
From Charlotte,
earlier.
I think,
Yeah, earlier in the chat. So if you've got Facebook and that's the only way you're going to make it because it's how we're set up right now to run the event, search Carolina Reseller Meetups and we'll put that in the chat as well. But our first annual free social networking sharing event is this Saturday, and it's hosted by us, Luke and Shannon and Los Entrepreneurs, and Tiffany and James from Palmetto Thrifters. Palmetto, I always get it wrong. I just stink.
Palmetto State Pickers.
Yeah, Palmetto State Pickers. Sorry. But it's going to be really cool. We're kind of in the final stages, but it's just a bunch of like-minded folks getting together and having a good time. So if you're so inclined, give that a search. Oh, Blandine, yes, the tax man came and dropped the mic. You bet.
Check out the show. It was last Thursday.
Yep. Go back to last week, and Jared was
tremendous amount of info in that video, guys, about everything you can. I think every question got asked 2 or 3 different ways, and he answered a ton of questions in that hour. It was nuts how many questions he answered. So check that video out. Let's see. There's another question. If I'm selling something worth a lot, like $5,000, what do I do with it? I'm scared on eBay I'll get scammed, and Craigslist I'll get robbed. on any other ideas? Well, I guess that kind of depends on what it is, Mama J. Obviously, if it's something you could sell locally and you could deal with that locally, you may have better luck. You can meet someone in a very public place. You can, you know, verify that if they hand you cash, that the money is real. You can do things like that. You could just sell it on eBay. I mean, you're going to have to do some other additional things, like probably purchasing insurance to make sure that if it gets there damaged, that you are protected. So you would definitely want to look into that. I think eBay insures normally up to about $750, I think it is, but it's not $5,000 for sure through the USPS. So you would definitely want to purchase insurance on it. You run a risk anytime you sell something valuable like that. You would just want to make sure you've got great photos, you've cleared any issues about condition or description with your buyer as well. So all things you have to, you definitely want to check out if you're going to sell something that expensive.
Yeah, and you know, Thelma pretty much said the same thing. Insure, require signature, and you've got existing things in place with eBay and PayPal for seller protection as well. Do.
Speaking of that, I forgot to tell my little story today.
What little story is that?
All right, so for all you guys who love eBay scam stories, this is not one. But no, I want to tell you guys really quickly this experience that happened to me over the weekend. So someone bought a pair of Coogee shorts that I have, denim shorts. They're really cool. You know, I love the brand Coogee. It's really cool, cool designs. Not a big sale or anything. They're like 15, 16 bucks, whatever. But that's not what was cool about the story. So this person sent me a message right after they bought it saying, hey, can you ship to such and such address? Which was a different address than the address they had on the sales record. Now, this happens a lot on eBay, as many of you know. And long story short, if you send to that other address, you may not be protected by seller protection if they decide to make a claim saying the item was not received, because you don't have confirmation that it went to the correct address necessarily. It could happen. So it is something that sometimes people will scam. And I don't know, but for whatever reason, the message struck me as weird. And so I asked the person, I said, hey, go in and change it now, like in PayPal, and it'll actually come up before I ship it, that it's changed the address. And they sent me like 2 or 3 more requests to please change the address. And then they responded to my question and said, no, that won't happen. It won't work. It's already been bought. And I'm like, no, I've had this happen before. As long as you change it in PayPal before I ship it, it should come up with that correct address. Now, maybe that's changed, but I know in the few months ago that happened. I had a buyer do the same thing, and they changed their address before I shipped it in PayPal, and it came up correctly in eBay before. Now, I hadn't shipped it yet, obviously. It came up correctly. So that's why I was telling this person that. And they were just adamant that that would not work. And normally I would have just been, you know what, forget it. It's not a big sale. Worst case, they say they don't receive it. I may have to eat this one, all right? But for some reason, I decided to look up the address that they were sending it to, the new address.
Well, and he had sent you another message at like 6 a.m. our time this morning.
Yeah, please ship to, right. So this person was, I mean, they were very adamant about shipping to that other address. And I'm going, you know, maybe they are kind of scamming me here. They didn't have a tremendous amount of feedback. You know, they've been on eBay for a couple years. But who knows? But it was 100% feedback score, so whatever. But anyway, so I looked up the address for where they wanted me to send the item instead. And it came up as a faith-based missionary type organization, like somewhere that helps their community. And I thought, that's kind of odd. Well, maybe they work there. So I looked a little further down, and I realized that this particular organization offers people who are eligible for their services mail services. They offer them the ability to send items to that place, and they can pick up their mail there for people who have lost their home and are homeless. And I thought, you know, this isn't a scam. This is legit. This person probably is homeless or, you know, in between homes, what have you, and they're staying there, or they have it agreed. they can have it sent there and they can pick up their mail still because they don't have the money to pay for a post office box and they don't have a physical address anymore. Mm-hmm. So of course, you know, I just packed it up and shipped it. You know, could it still be some sort of weird scam? Maybe. But you know what, guys? Most people are not scamming you. Most people are not scamming you, even when they want something to happen with that. And, you know, they just couldn't change it to another address. And they couldn't really change it to that address either. Because, you know, I think somebody was saying in the chat, maybe PayPal, maybe they didn't have a way to go into it. It's not really they probably can't use it as a billing address because they don't physically live there. But I just thought that was pretty cool, guys. You know, so sometimes what you think is going on is not really what's going on, and you just have to roll with it and assume positivity. Assume that the person has a legitimate reason for asking you to ship it somewhere different. And just go with it. So I don't know. I just want to share that little story with you.
You know what you just did there?
What?
That whole Apple positive intent thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of times when we get all hung up on heat, like we kind of have this inner dialogue about what we think someone else is thinking or what they're intending.
Yes.
And I would put money on the fact, and we've had lots of conversations about this, but we create this conflict in our heads and this fairy tale about what someone else is thinking or doing or why they're doing it or whatever. And if we just took a minute to stop and think about where the drama is coming from, it's usually not founded in reality. And I don't mean that to offend anybody, like you're not being realistic, but whenever you're projecting onto someone else your own thoughts of how something is playing out in their brain, that's not going to work out so well for you. It's just not. So I'm with Thomas. A leap of faith, yeah, sometimes it's called for. I don't think we get scammed so often that it's worth the wasted energy. So imagine if instead of getting all this anxiety and angst over what bad thing could happen, what if we just sort of just gave it up and we're like, okay, we're just going to assume that, you know, and I'm not saying don't be diligent and have your spidey senses on and about you. But in this instance, you know, it took one moment to sort of cross-reference that address, and we're good with it. And if we're not, then you'll write off a pair of Coogee shorts. The world's not going to end because one person scammed us out of a pair of shorts. Right.
That's exactly right. So yeah, so you know, guys, just operate with I think just operating from a position of believing in other people, even sometimes when they don't really deserve it. And, you know, but you can't just live in skepticism and mistrust all the time. I mean, it'll just make you a skeptical and mistrusting person, even with people that you should trust and shouldn't be skeptical of. So you have to just, you know, live in that place, I think, or you'll probably end up regretting it.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Negative stuff, that is.
Anyway.
So maybe we're hiccuping again. Somebody's having trouble. Mitzi's having trouble. So if there's any kind of hiccup in the video, it'll be better on the replay. YouTube's had some issues lately. Yeah.
Yeah, we had that issue the other week.
Jared's show.
Yeah.
Like it was this weird time Twilight Zone kind of time warp where it kept repeating the last thing that we said. So,
but thank you for the 70 viewers right now, guys. Appreciate that. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying the content.
Smash it. Smash that
Leave
like
a question
button.
Or comment afterwards, and check out our links too. You know, shameless plug for associate links on there for the gear that we use. Thank you, guys. I've had several people email me and message me about the shoe racks that we have listed on there, and just thanking us for the links to those, and they are good. They are good, and they're very affordable. So if you want to check those out, there's a link to those in the description down below this video. And I highly recommend those shoe racks. I've been very happy with those.
If you're anywhere nearby, come hang out with us on Saturday. That's going to be a hoot.
I know, it's going to be fun. And I think you might have mentioned this, but we are only using the Facebook group, guys, to communicate that. We explored this idea of emailing this person or communicating this way with that person. Complicated and too many, it would just be too many things to juggle on that day, and we just don't think we can commit that much capacity to keeping up with everyone's schedule.
Yeah.
Sorry if you don't have Facebook, just for this.
Well,
they're free.
Well, and careful with that because we're not approving non-people.
Well, yeah, whatever.
So,
We'll figure it out.
and like anything, it's our first effort. So it's not to say that's how we'll do it from now on. And this, we hope, is going to be the first of many. Like, we've already got ideas on how we can do it differently and better, and kind of put some different spins on future get-togethers and maybe future venues, cities, etc. Around here. But it's free. It's, you know, own risk. No, it's just a bunch of people getting together and having a productive and positive time. And I'm so excited, like, to meet some folks that we've seen in the chat like all the time and putting faces to names. Yeah,
that'll be cool. And you know, well, Karen's got a great schedule.
Oh, you mean
she's got such a she's got a great schedule planned of, you know, other things outside of just the reselling part. Well, I mean, they still tie to it actually, but more about that as we get there. We don't give up all the. Come
on, somebody that tells you to grab all the thingies. Do you really think it's going to be this very black and white, like serious thing? No.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great to meet some of you guys, and we should have a lot of fun.
We've got somebody coming from Indiana.
From Indiana, I know, right?
And so we wanted to be sure that she knew what she was getting herself into, right?
It's like we can't.
Yeah. You get. Oh, here's the deal. So you get what you pay for. Yeah, the event is free. So take that with whatever that you want to take.
Yes.
But we're excited about that. We're excited about, you know, having this new thing, huh? Because I've been saying we should bring the Connect back, but this reseller rehabby thing, could be really cool. So
yeah, it should be fun, guys. So, you know, you can email me before probably over the next week. I'll try to get people together. Maybe we'll shoot for in, you know, maybe the middle of July to start, somewhere in there 2 weeks from now. And yeah, just email me and we'll see who we can connect together and what that'll look like. It just kind of came up spur of the moment, but I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, and Thomas, we are gonna, if this one goes as well as we're hoping, it would be realistic for us to do one in the fall.
Oh, sure.
And I do want to meet you because we were just talking about you the other day. You have an awesome story. So if we don't get to at least meet you in person, you know, it would be cool to do it through this or something. But you know, everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a cool way that they do things. And I don't know, this has just been a great a great place for us to, and it's cool, I think, because once we've met these folks in person, like you're going to go meet Tino in Austin. Luke, we consider Luke to be a good friend, and he's old now. He just had a birthday. Oh, he's really old. But we consider everybody to, you know.
Yeah, Luke's very old. He's like ancient. So I don't think he's in the chat.
No, probably not, because he's at work, you know. Doing that work.
Someone asked when the meetup is. It's Saturday.
This Saturday. So again, search Carolina Reseller Meetups on Facebook, and that's how you you sign up, and that's how we're gonna keep the group on the same page. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you get approved for the group, then it'll explain how we're doing it and why we're doing it. And as crazy as some of the things might sound in the logistics of it all, it's all been well thought out. And planned as best we can for a freshman effort. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be good.
Any other questions? Last call for questions.
Last call for questions.
I'm like, last call is my thing. It's the caffeine, man.
It is the caffeine. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it.
You think?
For the day. Yeah, that's all we had. I don't know what else you got.
Going twice. Going thrice.
You're funny.
So I am funny.
Hopefully, if you guys, hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Scroll back and rewind the beginning of the show if you want to see the show topic. We hit it pretty early on, and Karen did. And hopefully you have a great rest of your Monday.
Yeah, and maybe later in the week, maybe Friday, whenever we get together again, we'll bring this full circle. So we'll be asking for some accountability from everyone and how you did with your own week of fives. And again, I'm cuckoo for alliteration and numbers and stuff. So everything's going to have like a 5 twist to it for me, I'm sure. So
that's it. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And
yeah, so glad we could see you. Just get out there and hit it. Let this Monday be the stepping off point for what will be greatness for the week to come. All
right. Well, we'll see you guys real soon. And I'm Prof Sales.
And this is Karin
saying
good sales to you.